From the Ford Sports Desk, KOMU-8 Sports.
M-I-Z-N-I-T. It just doesn't roll off the tongue. Nonetheless, the Mizzou men's basketball team kicks off its first round NIT action tonight at 8 p.m. against Davidson at Mizzou Arena. But being in the NIT isn't all that bad, and here are a few reasons why. Missouri gets a home game tonight, and the Tigers' non-conference home winning streak is at 81 games. They haven't lost since the 2005-2006 season. Next, Missouri is the number 2 seed, which means multiple home games if they win. Also, the NIT includes just 32 teams as opposed to the NCAA tournament's 68-team field, so Missouri's chances are much better. And finally, Frank Haith sitting at 199 career wins, just 1 win away from 200. This season, Haith became the first coach in Mizzou history with 3 consecutive 20-win seasons to open his Tiger tenure. Overall, the Tigers have topped 20 wins for 6 consecutive years. That's also a school record. And now for what's not so good about being in the NIT. This year marks the Tigers' first missed NCAA tournament in 6 years. Next, Missouri's 1-7 all-time in NIT games, and they haven't won one since 1996. Also, the Tigers will be shorthanded without Wes Clark, Shane Rector, and Tony Criswell, all suspended for the time being. Finally, Missouri is 1-2 all-time against Davidson, that's only win coming in 2006 when they defeated freshman at the time, Stephen Curry. The Tigers held him to only 16 points and 10 turnovers. Stephen Curry obviously right now plays for Golden State in the NBA. So with the absence of Clark, Rector, and Criswell, the Tigers will have only 8 players available on the bench tonight. Only 7 of them currently on scholarship. Clark has played in all 33 of Missouri's games this season, averaging 4 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists in 20 minutes of play. Rector has played in 22 games, averaging just 4 minutes per game. At 22-11 overall, Mizzou hoped for more than an NIT bid, but players say motivation won't be an issue throughout their NIT run.
I don't think it's going to be hard for me to get motivated to play. It's another game. Like I was telling Todd, I didn't want to end the season like that, how I did, losing to Florida. And then me personally, not playing the best games I've played throughout the whole year. So, just getting another opportunity to show what I can do and play is good.
Here's how the Tigers stack up against the Davidson Wildcats. First, let's compare the 2 coaches. Coach Frank Haith, it's his 9th season overall, 3rd with Mizzou. Like I said earlier, just 1 win away from 200, 199 to 138 losses. Now Coach Bob McKillop, 25th season all with Davidson, over 400 wins. Now let's look at NIT records. I mentioned Missouri's before, but Davidson's is not so great either. They're 3-5. And then to the backcourt trios. Obviously, Missouri's has been great all year. Jabari Brown, Jordan Clarkson, and Ernest Ross, 51.2 points per game. That's 70% of Mizzou's scoring. For Davidson, not too shabby either. Brian Sullivan, Tyler Kalinowski, and Tom Droney averaging 34.4 points per game, a little less than 50% of the Wildcats' total scoring. Lastly, let's look at conference records. Missouri 9-9 in the SEC, which was good for 6th in the conference. Davidson 15-1. They're the Southern Conference regular season champs, but they lost in the semifinals of their conference tournament. Wofford, the champs, out of the Southern Conference. But still, Davidson, at a 7th seed in the NIT, definitely no slouch.
I know they're really good team. They beat Georgia, did something we didn't do. I heard they played North Carolina and Duke pretty tough. So we got a good team coming in here and to play against tomorrow.
A good 3-point shooting team. They beat Georgia. They took Carolina to overtime, so they're definitely a team that's capable of beating high major teams.
Winner of tonight's game will play either Southern Miss or Toledo in the 2nd round. And if Missouri wins, they'll get 1 more home game. Last night, the Missouri women's basketball team received its own bid to the women's NIT. The Tigers will travel to Creighton Thursday night. The game still hasn't announced the time. Unlike the men's 32-team field, the women's WNIT field consists of 64 teams. Also, each game will be played at sites of host schools. This is also true for the men's up until the semifinals, which will be played at Madison Square Garden. For the 2nd consecutive year, Coach Pinchton's Tigers have made it into the WNIT field. hear from the Tigers tonight at 6, 9, and 10 as they prepare for postseason play. And that's all for sports. Stay tuned for more news.